By the time you're watching this video, we will be on our highly anticipated bucket list Sardine Run expedition in South Africa. But in order to get ready for that trip, I need to pack. So this is the much requested how to pack for a dive trip video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. As always, it is so great to see all of your smiling faces. I hope you're all doing really well. I'm not kidding. This is one of the most requested videos we get. How do I pack my dive gear for a dive trip when I'm going away, right? Everyone wants to know that. Of course, I wanted to make this video sooner for all of you, but we haven't been traveling. For obvious reasons. So it seems a little silly to get all the suitcases down and, you know, pack all the dive gear up just for the sakes of the video, but now we have an actual opportunity. Couple of things before we get started. Number one, I want to dedicate this video to my good buddy Chris, who is coming on the Sardine Run with us, and I know has lots of questions about how to pack for a dive trip, and also doesn't have a lot of time to do his packing, so this video is for you, mate. And second of all, I'm going to mention a lot of brands in this video. That's just because I'm going to mention a lot of brands because I'm making gear selections. But this is in no way paid for or sponsored by any of the brands I mentioned. It's a completely unsponsored video. It's just par for the course. This Sardine Run trip has been at least 2 years in the planning. My wife and I have been looking forward to this for so long. You can imagine how close we came to cancelling a bunch of times, and then situations got better and it looks like it was going to go ahead, and now we're, you know, well, by the time you're watching this, as I said in my intro, we're already there, but as of the time of recording, we're a couple of weeks out. I can't wait. So here's what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to look at, first off, conditions, right? When you're planning to go on a dive trip, you need to know what conditions are expected that you're going to be diving in. In this instant, we're going to be diving in cool winter, Southern Hemisphere winter, temperate water. So I need to plan accordingly. And I'm sure, guys, that there will be other iterations of this video for warm water trips and ice diving trips and so on as the channel moves on. But for now, this is the temperate water dive trip packing edition video. I think that makes sense. Once you know the conditions, the second thing to do is make your gear selections, lay it all out and see how much space you need. And then thirdly, you need to select your luggage and then pack it appropriately. So those are the three things we're going to cover in this video: conditions, gear selections, luggage and packing. That's really it. Join me in the equipment room and we'll get started with conditions. So South Africa winter diving then. We're going to be diving in the Agulhas Current, which starts life up near Mozambique, between Mozambique and Madagascar, and brings warm water south down the eastern cape of South Africa. That water then mixes with a colder current coming up from Antarctica, which brings all the nutrients that the sardines are attracted to, that then bring in the apex predators that we're going to see and dive. Now, the water isn't going to be blisteringly cold. It's not ice diving. We're expecting sort of 57 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is somewhere between 13 and 18 degrees Celsius. Not freezing cold. However, due to the style of diving that we're going to be doing, where we need to be kitted up and in the water in a moment's notice or you're going to miss the action, the operators don't recommend, and they're the experts, that we dive in dry suits. Add that to the fact that we're going to be diving from small, rigid inflatable boats. We're going to be on the boat for 7 or 8 hours a day. We leave early in the morning, we don't get back till mid-afternoon, and we're going to be doing multiple dives, some snorkeling as well. We're going to be in the water, then back on the boat in the cold air. It's actually quite a tricky dive trip to plan for from a logistical point of view, because you're going to want to stay warm between dives, but you've also got to be able to get in the water really quickly. Okay, so that's the conditions then. Now we know that, we can select gear that's appropriate for the mission. Now, because you guys are my subscribers and I don't keep anything from you guys, I'll tell you this. The selection for the equipment for this trip was actually pretty easy, because while we're in South Africa, we're going to be filming a bunch of sponsored content, including a short film documentary, if you will, about the Sardine Run. That is being supported by our sponsorship partners, who have been very generous with their gear and with their support of this project. So I reached out to my friends at Dive Right, for example, and said, hey look, we're going on this cold water expedition, we're going to make a film, do you guys want products featured? And then that's going to lead to content that we're going to put out through the end of the year. So in that instance, well, I already had, for example, BCD, so I've got 3 Dive Right Hydrolytes, but as I said in my review of the Hydrolyte, that is really a warm water BCD, and we're doing temperate water. I want the lift, I need the weight capacity to be able to get me under in a thick wetsuit. So I reached out to Jared, and Jared at Dive Right was kind enough to send me the XT Voyager Transpack. And there you have it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to take any untested piece of gear to South Africa. So I have been diving this here in South Florida. I already have some initial thoughts, but if you want the full review, you'll just have to wait. Dive Right were also kind enough to send me mask, snorkel. Gonna need the snorkel. Like I said, we're going to be doing as much, if not more, snorkeling than diving. Don't know if you guys have ever actually seen me with a snorkel before, but there you have it. I'm also going to be diving the Dive Right Advanced Open Water Regulator set in DIN with a bar SPG for South Africa. And because we're going to be doing a lot of live boat operations and drift dives, Dive Right were kind enough to send me a 120-foot spool and the Dive Right SMB. Let me tell you something, folks, this is on back order right now. This SMB is actually Jared Heyer's SMB, the general manager of Dive Right. He was like, I don't have any on the shelves, we don't have any in inventory, here, take mine. In case you're wondering what a nice guy he is. Thanks, Jared. Right, I also need a light. The CX2. This is the lightsaber of lights. Never get in the water without a light. It's an essential piece of safety equipment. If you get lost, blown off from a dive, they can come and find you. I also need a pair of fins. Pretty straightforward, Dive Right XT fins. This is the modern edition with the swivel hinge, monoprene, so it's nice and lightweight, good for travel, but stiff enough to keep up with the current. Okay, so that's my core scuba equipment taken care of. Now I need to think about thermal protection. It's going to be cold, they don't want us in a dry suit, so 7mm, pretty straightforward. You guys know I'm a massive fan of the Bear reactive suit, especially for us big guys. It tends to fit me incredibly well. I've been diving the 3 and the 5mm year round here in Florida for, well, as long as we've lived in Florida. So I reached out to Bear and they were kind enough to send me a 7mm version of the reactive, which is here. There we go. In my size. We talked about taped seams before, guys. You know how I feel about that. You know how I feel about sewing, making tons of holes in my suit, turning it into a tea bag. That's not what I'm looking for at all. I want taped elastomeric seams, nice and flexible, nice and snug as a bug in a rug. So that goes on the pile straight away. Bear 5mm booties, hard soled. We're going to be walking to the boats each day. I'm going to be in these from the moment I leave my hotel room. Also, I'm thinking about layering. I'm going to need a hood. I'm going to need gloves. We got gloves. We got socks. We've got a hooded vest. We have a long sleeve top. We have the leggings. And we have the shorts. Nice packaging, no plastic, that's fantastic. Appreciate it. It's a little tight around the neck, so I might make a little, actually, nah. We'll see how it is but when it gets wet, but I might need to make a little adjustment here at the front just to give myself a little breathing room. Whoa. This is snug. This is just the vest over the full bodysuit, and it is snug. I don't think I'm going to take all of it to South Africa. I'm going to have to make some selections, but yeah, pretty happy. What else do we need? So let's think about, okay, warmth in the water, scuba gear, warmth on the boat. So everyone that's coming on the Sardine Run gets one of these beanies. Divers Ready Sardine Run 2021, you know it, baby, yeah. Of course, mine is in Sisu red. Oh yeah, you didn't think I was going without this, did you? You're out of your mind. Absolutely not. This was made for the Sardine Run. Surf Fur water parka. I mean, really, it's packing item number 1 on the list. I mean, yeah, I'm going to bring my Surf Fur hoodie as well, but I'm going to wear that on the plane, so I don't need to pack that separately. All right, so some quick tips then for getting ready for the dive trip. Number 1, before you start putting things in the bag, lay everything out so you can see it, you can visualize it. Use a packing list. I made a packing list for this trip. I will link it in the description of this video below. That way you're minimizing, you're not ruling it out, but you're minimizing your chance of forgetting something important. Then lay all your gear out and get a sense of the volume that you need, and then you can choose luggage appropriate to that size. No, 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 yes. Let's start off then by talking about the luggage itself. Why do I use Pelican cases? Why do I use these hard box style pieces of luggage? There are some significant disadvantages. Number 1, they're heavy. This box itself, empty, weighs about 14 pounds. That's quite a considerable amount of your luggage allowance. Yeah, so that's already the main disadvantage. Second thing is obviously not flexible, but they're super strong. So particularly with the Air series, where they did manage to cut the weight down considerably over the sort of more military style boxes that they also make, I'm a big fan of Pelican boxes. Guys, your dive gear is life support equipment. It's keeping you alive underwater. You need to protect it, especially when it's out of your hands and in the hands of baggage handlers. I mean, have you seen baggage handlers at the airport? Have you seen the amount of love and respect they give to your personal property? Yeah, exactly. So I use Pelican cases because although they're hard-sided, they're not as flexible, and they're heavy, they protect my dive gear, and it's too expensive to get completely trashed. All right, packing then. First thing goes in the bag is the wetsuit. Folded lengthways, it fills the gap nicely and it provides padding for everything else that I'm going to put in here. You'll notice that this Pelican has no foam inserts at all. It's completely empty because I'm putting a big lump of foam in the bottom of it in the form of my neoprene wetsuit. Next thing that goes in are the fins, but the fins don't go in empty. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to take that foot pocket space and you're going to take things like your hood. That's going to go in there. I've got my leggings, they're going to go in there, and you're going to fill that space as best you can and make sure that there's no space wasted. You'll notice in the other one here I've got my light. That's going to protect it from getting turned on accidentally in my luggage, although I'm going to check the charge when I get to my destination. I've got my gloves, I've got my socks, I've got my shorts in there, so we're already using that space. Then they go on the side, nice and protected. They're not going to get bent out of shape while in transit. The next thing that needs to go in is my BCD, because that's the next largest item. I'm going to take the weight pockets out. I'll set those to one side for now. Just makes the BCD more pliable and easier to pack. Obviously, you want to make sure that all of the air is out of the BCD. So I'm just going to push that down into the space there. Make sure I'm gently folding in all of the webbing. And then as you can see, that fills that space quite nicely. Weight pockets can just sit sort of tucked in there, out of the way. And there we go, we're looking good. Next up, I have my mask box. My mask box has quite a lot of empty space in it, so I'm using it also to hold my spool. That can go down there. You can also put other soft items in your mask box, gloves and so on. And then I've got some more of the Bear Exo Wear layering items that are going to go down the side. Excellent. Next up, I've got my boots. I can tuck these on top of my BCD. Pretty straightforward there. I also forgot to mention I'm taking a set of wet notes. It helps me with the shot list and stuff for the videography. So that goes in. And then my surf fur is going to sit neatly up on top of that. All right, what's missing? My regulator. This is it's a rigid, I wouldn't call it hard, it's a rigid case made by a company called Akona that I use as my reg bag. I really need to put some oil on this zip. And inside here I've got my pocket, I'm using the space again. I've got my beanie to keep my head warm, and I've got my DSMB as well as my regulator set. Guys, never check your regulators. This box is my personal item. It comes on the flight with me, it goes under the seat in front of me, it never leaves my side. Together with my computer, my Garmin, which is going to be on my wrist as my daily wear watch anyway. These are the two pieces of dive gear that I personally choose never to check in, but I'm always going to use the space in that regulator bag to make sure that I'm being as efficient as possible. I'm actually in two minds about whether I sticker the Pelican or not, because this is going to be my new dive case, and I'm not a fan of dive branded luggage. I don't want a big dive logo slogan on my luggage advertising the fact that I'm carrying quite expensive dive gear. I quite like that this is anonymous, but then again, if you're going to spend money on a case like this, people know that you're going to protect something valuable. It's not going to be just underwear inside here, is it, really? Yeah, what the hell, let's sticker it. Oh, and in case you're wondering, and I'm sure this will come up in the comment section, 49.5 pounds. Yep, this box, with everything you saw me put into it, came in at £0.5 under the limit for the airline that I'm flying. Unbelievable. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I pack for a temperate water dive trip. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it works for all the people that were asking me to make a how to pack for a dive trip video. I'm sure, as I said, in future iterations there will be a warm water and an ice water version of this sort of packing, but the basic tips are the same. Number one, make sure you know what conditions you're heading to. Number two, choose gear that's appropriate for those conditions. And number three, protect your life support equipment. Invest in quality luggage and pack it sensibly. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it the old thumbs up and let me know what you think of my packing techniques in the comment section below. Now all I've got to do is figure out how to pack that enormous camera setup. Yeah, that could be a whole separate video on its own. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel via that big white button down there if you haven't done so already, and feel free to check out some of the other videos I'll put just over there. Until next time, my name's James. This was your video for this week from Divers Ready. Dive safe, dive often. Look at this thing. See? Articulate, overhead shots, magnetic light. I mean, what else do you want, guys? I mean, it's too much. It's too much. This channel has gone out of control.